mask go. Stole my keys, where my portfolio go.
They took my tether, they took my dot, they took my Bitcoin, I'm about to cry. They took my Ethereum, they took my drip, they took my time wonderland, I'm about to quit.
I can't take this anymore, man.
It's a rug pull, I feel like a fool. It's a rug pull, they breaking all the rules. It's a rug pull, I feel like a fool. It's a rug pull, they breaking all the rules.
Okay, I need the price to go up. I can't take this anymore. Every day I'm checking the price and it's dipping. Every day I check the price, it's bad price. I can't take this anymore, man. I have overinvested by a lot.
It's a rug pull, I feel like a fool. It's a rug pull, they breaking all the rules. It's a rug pull, I feel like a fool. It's a rug pull, they breaking all the rules. It's a rug pull, I feel like a fool. It's a rug pull, they breaking all the rules. It's a rug pull, I feel like a fool. It's a rug pull, they breaking all the rules.
What's a rug pull?
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. My name is AJ, I am the team lead here, and this is our live AMA. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Because of daylight saving time here in America, it may be a little bit of a different time where you are in the world, but this will be the same time from here on out until we set our clocks forward again. Anyway, amazing video to start things off. Shout out to Cool Sheet. Again, he's one of our longtime supporters, and I'd love to show him some love when he puts out great content. And so please go follow him and give him a like. Again, type in Cool Sheet, no S on the end, into YouTube, and you can find a lot of his other videos. But anyway, we have a lot to go over today. But before we get into all that, I'm joined by my co-host with the most and fellow team member, LA, how are you today?
What's up? Oh, it's been such a good day, and I always smile when I see one of Cool Streets' videos, so that's just the cherry on top.
Yeah, no doubt. We had a great productive day as a team. Lots to go over, lots of updates, and our AMAs have been a bit of a doozy lately. We've been going about 2 hours each, but hopefully tonight we can make it a little shorter. Every time I say that, we end up going long anyway. But before we get to the first topic, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, all the ad revenue that we generate from the YouTube channel, as well as goes right back to EMP. And then liking, commenting, and subscribing also helps get more people, more eyeballs on EMP and the EMP ecosystem. So I want to see a like spike, please, and invite your friends. Again, this is a great way to learn about our ecosystem. Even a lot of people that are in EMP don't take the time to really, listen to these AMAs. And even if English is not your first language or you don't have time for the AMAs, we do a full recap on most of the AMAs in written text as well. So there really is no excuse for not keeping yourself in the loop. So please join our socials, both Telegram and Discord, to keep up to date. So all that being said, we're gonna jump right in. LA, before we get started, anything you want to add? I know we got a lot to go over today, but
I'll just second what you just said, because today in particular was a day when the AMA questions section had a lot of questions that were answered in our last two AMAs. So definitely make sure to check out the notes every week and the timestamps, and a lot of those questions are found in there. And we do truly want to keep these less than 2 hours long for all you guys, because I know you probably don't want to sit there for 2 hours. So we want to try our best not to answer the same questions every week, not for our sake, but for yours.
yeah, no, 100%. And again, we usually about within like 42 hours, there's timestamps, there's a written recap, and so again, there is no excuse not to invest in your investment. And yeah, we'll go over all that at the end too, more specifically. But all right, then we're gonna jump right in. The first thing, well, actually, before we get into all this, I just want to make a quick announcement that we'll talk a little bit more towards the end. But the bridge is currently down right now. We put an announcement in all of our socials. Again, this is really bullish news. That means that the bridge is being upgraded. So it should only be about an hour, maybe 2 hours of downtime, but the bridge is still 100% safe. Just if you try to initiate a transaction, it won't work. Your MetaMask or Ravi will literally not let you put the transaction through. And we'll make another announcement again as soon as things are back up. But this is a very vital step in the next process of adding a stable token option to the bridge. So it won't, again, don't get too antsy. When the bridge comes back live, that option will not be there immediately, but we're really, really close. So a great developer meeting today. We're making major headway, and we'll do a big announcement on that in Sparkswap when we get to that on today's AMA. But yeah, again, LA, anything else you want to add to that?
No, like you said, we'll dive into it in that section.
Okay, perfect. So, all right, the first thing is L1X. So we have been working with the marketing team directly over the last few weeks, and we've been really lobbying to get a new tutorial video made. I know a lot of you still had some questions on how to claim, so we now have a full video tutorial available for claiming for those of you that needed a little bit of extra help, and we'll be posting this right after the AMA tonight. So again, we didn't want to go through it on the AMA because we want people to be able to watch it in a fast setting. But we now have that, and it will be posted on all of our socials. So all up to today, this is the other really amazing news today regarding the public sale buyers. Everyone who purchased in the public sale prior to today, because obviously the sale is ongoing at the moment as well. We don't do it in real time, but anybody that purchased up until today should now be able to claim their tokens. So again, if you've been waiting until most people were approved, now is the time. So watch that video and try to claim the tokens that you have waiting for you. If you're not able to claim or you run into some issues, or the amount that you are claiming isn't correct, there is, the only way to really rectify that is to go to the L1X Discord and open up a ticket with them directly, and they can help you out. So we have a few other updates with L1X, but in terms of claiming, again, LA, anything you want to add to that? I know you've been spearheading that as well.
Yeah, not too much more to add. It's just a really exciting moment that it's finally here, whether you're in the pre-sale, the public sale, everyone should have access now. We've been told that everyone has their coins. So if you've been waiting for the video, if you kind of needed a step-by-step walkthrough, I watched it today. It's great. You can literally watch it and take the steps along with them if you like, if that's the kind of step-by-step approach that you need. It'll be there for you. And if you guys need any additional help, definitely write in through the ticket system in the L1X Discord like AJ just mentioned.
Perfect. Yep. And again, if you are continuing to add to your L1X bag, again, our public sale is still ongoing. Right now, again, LA can post the official link in the socials. But we'll reconcile with them probably once a week. So if you, again, every Friday or so, we'll submit the updated transactions. And then, that following week, you should be able to claim. So again, that'll be a bit of a fluid process right now because, again, that public sale is still ongoing. But once the public sale ends, literally everybody should be able to have their tokens. And we haven't gotten an update yet on when the public sale will end, but as soon as the hard cap is reached, it could end at any time. So if you are still waiting to get L1X, I would highly recommend jumping on it. And again, only through the official links. It's L1X public sale.io, and LA just posted the link in our socials. So, all right, we're also making some really solid progress with development of L1 DEX. I spoke a lot about this on the last AMA on Thursday of last week. The swap that has been launched is more of a proof of concept and built directly by L1X. So obviously it's a lot more trimmed down, a lot easier to deploy, and because the L1X Foundation already is familiar with the code base, they can get that out a lot quicker than we can. But if you like what you see with the swap, L1 DEX will be that times 10. So we're really pushing the boundaries and capabilities of the interoperability. And because of that, we have to wait on a lot of the infrastructure of the blockchain itself. Again, code base, repos, the actual scanner, the L1X scanner itself. And once we have all of that in place, which is already happening, it's just a process. Then we'll be able to go live and show everybody, what a game-changing exchange really looks like. So, still super bullish on L1 DEX. We've been non-stop building on every part of our ecosystems, and we joke about it a lot, but it always happens where, all of this is going to be ready at one time. We don't plan it that way, but it just so happens that that's usually how it goes. So just continue to be patient, and it'll be here ASAP. So, all right, LA, anything else about L1X or L1 DEX?
Not at this very moment.
All right, perfect. And just to recap, you are going to post that video. LA, will that be on our YouTube or through our socials? How we, just so people know where to look.
I'll post it in all of our channels. Please make sure that you are a member of the L1 DEX channels, because moving forwards, we're going to get in the habit of posting L1X, L1 DEX information and updates in those channels exclusively, so we can start building those communities. And as we move forwards and we have more and more and more information to share in regards to the different branches of the ecosystem, we're going to try our best to start posting in those specific chats if the information pertains mostly to those areas. So please make sure that you join the Discord and Telegram for L1 DEX, because those will be pinned there.
All right, perfect. So there you go. All right, moving on to Sparkswap. Again, trying to cover a lot today, but we'll be short and sweet. So Sparkswap is still crushing it on every level. Again, we talked about the bridge. I'll talk about that in a minute. But overall, I mean, the Pulse ecosystem is really starting to wake up, and we haven't even gotten started yet. I mean, we see a lot of hype today around P-Drip, which is a clone of Drip with a lot more sustainable economics. That's been blowing up on Pulse today. The GOAT token, obviously, our partnership with them, having that fully collateralized token against Pulse itself has been absolutely killing it as well. I could not be more bullish on GOAT than anything outside of our ecosystem, for sure. So take a look at that, and just Pulse in general. I mean, we've seen almost 100% gain since the lows, and even now we're still below the sacrifice price. So once we start breaking out above sacrifice price, Richard Hart has made a return. He's been tweeting a lot now, and he has really helped promote that and make, again, nobody can, whether you love him or hate him, nobody can argue with the shilling power that Richard Hart has. So he started to be a little bit more active. I think he's still bearish on crypto and the overall economic market overall. But obviously, Pulse Hex, Pulse X, all of his tokens, he's always pushing hard. So that's really exciting. And we're only seeing the beginning. I mean, in the next bull run, we could see multiple X's on Pulse itself. And again, because Spark is tied with Pulse, still over $1 million of liquidity, that will help bring the price of Spark up with it. So, really exciting stuff. So, all right, Ella, you want to talk a little bit about Sparkler? Again, I know you've been doing a lot of the metrics over the last few days.
Yeah, so we're now 21 days post bridge launch, and we are still averaging well over 1% per day daily APR on max stakes. So very exciting stuff. It has slowed down a little bit over the last few days. As you know, it's based on real revenue, so it will ebb and flow, but we are still averaging well over 1% since the bridge launch over 21 days. So very impressive, very consistent, and I'm really excited about where this is going. So I think that the Sparkler is a very proven model at this point.
Yeah, no doubt, LA. Great point. And again, even today, I was laughing to myself. I sent LA a link. We're already starting to see some copycats, and usually that means that we've done something right. So again, the EMP ecosystem, Spark, L1X, all of us, we are always seem to be the trendsetters. And what do they say? Imitation is the best form of flattery. But yeah, the actual the actual model of Sparkler, generating or dispersing real revenue, is the way that I think DeFi is moving overall, and so we could not be happier with the outcome. Again, as LA said, because it is reliant on real revenue, that means the volume has to be there. And over the weekend, obviously weekends are lower volume anyway. But still a very bullish numbers since the bridge launched. And we'll talk a little bit more about this in the questions. But obviously, because Spark is still inflationary, those that are locking up for maximum stakes, there is some dilution. And I know, that's something that we've been very transparent about. But the idea is that even as we continue with inflation, which ultimately we're going to get away from inflation completely, which in and of itself will fix any potential dilution of Sparkler, because the only way to get into Sparkler will be to buy Spark. That's why it's so important that are actually building your positions now. And if you're in the farms, you're able to feed that Spark into Sparkler indefinitely, and that's why we say it's always great to be in both. Never go all in on one part of the protocol, and that will also help you keep up with any dilution in the short term. And finally, even with the dilution, as long as we can generate more fees as a protocol, and again, we have everything in place to scale, that means that potentially your rewards in Sparkler could go up even with that dilution and a lot more users going in for max stakes. So no matter how you look at it, Sparkler is really bullish for the long term, and those that have the long-term vision and are doing maximum stakes are really reaping the benefits of all that. So, all right, I think that covered a lot of, again, updates on that. We have a few more updates about other parts of Spark. Number one being the arbitrage bot. So again, we haven't even still been adding any of the earnings from the arb bot into Sparkler. We've again, we're trying to make sure that we don't have to manually balance the reserves on BSC and on on Pulse. Again, there has to be EMP and ETH on both sides to make sure that we're balancing and keeping that peg. But we're earning every bit. So once that actually starts feeding Sparkler, which we hope will be very soon, again, once we have the stable token option, we can split some of those resources and not have to have such a large reserve in the RBot for the swings that may happen. And once that happens, again, we could see massive amount of yield going into Sparkler. So all those numbers that LA quoted doesn't even include the RBot yet. So I can't wait to give the update on that. The numbers from the arbitration bot are way higher than we had originally hoped, and so that's even more insurance that we'll still be able to yield through Sparkler even with that dilution. So, all right. Anything else on that, LA? And I have one more bullet point to go over.
Nope.
All right. So the last point is the update on, again, the bridge itself. So right now it is down for some upgrades. That is a precursor to the stable token option. And once we're back, once we're back, hopefully, again, I'm going to say ASAP, so we don't have actual days. But once the bridge is up and functioning again, very soon to follow will be a new farm. Again, this farm will help build the liquidity of the stable pair. Again, we haven't announced what it will be yet either, but it will be a very prominent stable token in the Pulse ecosystem. And then we're ready to roll. So again, we'll be able to bridge without having to bridge EMP, and this will really widen the appeal of the bridge for people getting in and out without having to use a token that they may or may not have ever heard of. So those that have EMP, it's still really bullish for you to use. The EMP bridge, again, the yields over on Spark have been incredibly good compared to our native farms. So I would highly recommend bridging at least something over. But remember, don't sell the EMP. You need to have the capital to pair with your EMP once you get it over here to Pulse. So again, as long as you're buying the EMP equivalent before bridging it over and then selling whatever you bought, that's okay. But just bridging over and selling for half of ETH is definitely frowned upon. And it really hurts you because you're essentially selling EMP at what we feel is the bottom. So when we do start moving up again, you're going to have to buy your EMP back at potentially a higher price. So, obviously it also hurts you as well. But again, we're almost there. We also have some other really cool news to share. Once we have the stable token option ready, there'll be another bit of transitionary period into more of a full-fledged DEX, and we'll announce that when it happens as well. But again, we're way ahead of schedule in terms of development, and with all that, we've allowed, and we'll talk about this in the next announcement, but we have a lot more hands on deck now as well. So Sparkswap development is being handled completely now by another team, and so we'll talk about that in the next announcement. But so yeah, really exciting stuff. Again, LA, anything you want to add to that?
Sorry, I was getting an update on another update on the L1X stuff while you were just mentioning that. So
Okay.
you move along. I'm getting a little bit of updated info to share.
All right, in real time. There you go. All right, so all right, I was just finishing up Sparkswap. I think we covered everything. So if there's anything else, LA can chime in. But all right, as far as bonds, so we updated on the last AMA on Thursday that the EMP Treasury bonds were completed. We raised about $100,000, which was great. We fell a little bit short of our goal, but that doesn't impact the ability for us to yield and make good on what we said we would. But now the marketplace is live, so we did end up airdropping a new NFT. Again, it was just easier that way once the NFT marketplace went live. But again, it doesn't matter to any of you. You just have another EMP bond NFT that's no longer good, which was from the actual sale. But now everything is working flawlessly, and you can check your bonds in real time on the marketplace and their profile. So if you go to EMP.Bonds.com, you can click in the upper right hand side. It will say profile, and then you can see how many NFTs you own and what the potential yield on those NFTs will be at the end of the year period. So the analytics are really awesome, and it shows what you're earning in real time. And so if you missed out on the bond sale, we have listed a few from our treasury. Again, just so that people had a last minute opportunity to buy. And I know even some people that, have an emergency or maybe want to sell, have listed as well. So feel free to buy from the marketplace as well. Again, you're earning depending on, how much time is left in the year. But if you're buying them now, you're getting pretty much that full 60% APR. There is a 2% fee, but again, it's pretty minimal when you consider, the yield that you're going to be getting. So hopefully that helps explain everything on that. And again, we've always said, make sure that if you're going into the bonds, it means that you're going to do your best to hold till the very end. But if you do have an emergency, you can always list your bonds for sale as well. And we will be implementing an emergency withdrawal function. Again, it doesn't make any sense to do that in the first month, but the next few weeks we will be adding that option as well, and it will be a first come first serve on those as well. So, all right, I think that wraps that part up. LA, do you have an update to share, or you want me to keep going? Yeah.
I'm going to include it along with the video when I post it. So keep an eye open for that.
Okay, perfect. All right, and then last but not least, EMP Fusion. So, again, we have a lot more questions on Fusion. Those that have been paying attention, and even some that haven't. We just want to go over a few things, and then we'll get to Q&A at the end as well. But this was the announcement I alluded to in the first part of Sparkswap, but we have now fully handed over all of the Sparkswap development to the DeFi team, and again, our lead developer Jake will now be able to focus on finishing Fusion as well. So that's really a bullish update. We have another development team that helped us build Fusion out with our lead dev. And so again, now between both those dev teams, and obviously, Jake, our EMP Jake, overseeing everything, I think we're going to start making a lot of headway. So that's super exciting, and we're set up for success for sure. So to some of you that haven't been paying attention, it seems like that we have like shiny object syndrome, moving to Spark and L1X and things that are outside of the ecosystem. But really, they're not. They are part of the ecosystem. And again, those that aren't paying attention are not really making this connection. So I wanted to address it again. But we have, we have a lot of powerful decisions that we make that makes, the timeline of why we are doing things in the order that we are doing them in. So the reason that we did Spark and L1X is that those protocols will actually make Fusion much more powerful. And without them, Fusion, obviously Fusion itself is a revenue stream, but the idea is that we want to have a ton of revenue streams feeding the rewards of Fusion. And without that infrastructure in place, Fusion could have fallen very flat. And so we don't want to, take all this time to develop a brand new protocol and then not have it live up to its potential. So it's very important that we're doing what we're doing to truly build an entire ecosystem. And that, again, feeds EMP. So that's a really important concept that I think a lot of people are still not understanding. And no matter what we do, it's always with the intention and the track record that we are putting EMP first. So once L1X is live, and again, we continue to scale Spark, all of these revenue streams will be incredibly powerful and start flowing capital right into, all the rewards that Fusion will bring. So, again, LA, I don't know if you want to add to that, but I think it's a really important concept that we see a lot of people still not really understanding.
Absolutely. I think the most important thing to say is if you're looking at EMP with a microscope, you're doing it wrong. It's so important to look at the entire ecosystem and zoom out. We are launching Fusion in the order that we're launching it in for a very intentional reason. I mean, we had the opportunity months ago to make this decision, and we made it in an extremely intentional way for this very reason. Can Fusion survive and be successful on its own without external revenue streams already flowing into it from the get-go? Potentially. Is it going to be 1,000 million times more powerful and much more likely and a much higher probability of being extremely successful if on day one it launches with multiple revenue streams flowing into it, with marketing already happening, with new community members already flowing in for months, with people talking about the entire EMP ecosystem for months and being on their minds for months. I mean, it's been so intentional every step of the way, but if you're only looking at the EMP and eShare charts and you're zoomed in and you're looking at it under a microscope and that's all you're staring at, and you're not paying attention to anything else because you're so zoomed in, you're missing so much else that's all around you in your peripheral vision that you just can't see. And you're totally missing the point. And so it's so important to zoom out and look at it from a different view, because it's been so intentional, and we want to assure the success of Fusion when it launches, because we know you all care. We care so deeply, and we want everyone's investment to be safe. And I want to remind everyone that yes, the EMP and eShare prices are down right now, but you only lose money when you sell a token. And so one thing is, like, people write all the time, like, my investment's down by this much, or I've lost this much, but you haven't lost this much. I mean, if you had ETH sitting in your wallet, if you had Bitcoin sitting in your wallet, it goes up and down all the time, but you don't sit in Telegram forums talking to other investments about, or other investors about how much you lost every few days when it goes up or down constantly with those tokens, with those coins. Because you're not buying and selling it constantly. It's the same thing with this. I understand that it sucks to see it go down, but if you truly believe in the future of this, see that we're doing this for a very intentional reason. And I understand that it really sucks that it's taken a whole hell of a lot longer than we intended it to. And trust me, it sucks for us too. But we do have a very powerful vision for this. And AJ and I, and Jake as well, none of us have even 1% less certainty in that vision. In fact, I'm actually much more bullish than I have ever been. And I'm pretty sure AJ could say the same thing. Even more certain now that we've proven the success with Sparkswap, that we're, so much farther ahead than we were months ago in so many other fronts. We have just, such a solid relationship with the DexFi team and getting their help with so much of development work with the Sparkswap side. There's just so many things that maybe we couldn't have predicted that are actually helping us even more these days that we wouldn't have necessarily predicted. So I'm very excited about where the future is going. It's going in a very ideal direction for all of us. And if you can't see that, I suggest you get on board and really just educate yourself. There's lots of these AMAs, there's the notes. And if you do still have questions after using all of those resources, please feel free to ask them. But those resources are there to be used so that we don't necessarily have to answer the same questions over and over again. But we are always here to help. And we do want you to feel great about being here.
Wow, yeah, LA, I could not agree more. And yeah, I mean, again, I agree with exactly what you said, that I've never been more bullish than I am right now on the ecosystem. And I know a lot of you that are here day to day and actually take the time to understand what we're building. You're just as bullish as we are. And unfortunately, again, the crypto market overall, like LA said, everybody wants to jump in. And it's funny because nobody does it on blue chip assets, but it only seems to be in DeFi. Dev do something when the token goes down. But that is the reality of the space that we're in. And until you sell, like LA said, it is an unrealized loss. And I understand some of you may not be able to hold on until fusion. Some of you may have emergencies. Some of you may hate LA and I and think that we suck and you don't want to be part of the protocol. That's okay. I mean, it's everybody's prerogative. We're not the ones pressing the buttons for you. And so if you have to, leave and no longer come back, that's okay. But we're doing everything in our power to, make EMP and Fusion and all of our ecosystems and sister projects as successful as they can possibly be. And that is a commitment to you guys that will never waver in. So again, I think it's only a matter of time, and once the quote unquote flywheel starts moving, when we announce the sacrifice date for Fusion, again, sacrifice is just a regulatory word that we use, but that will be the ability to, single stake your EMP into Fusion and start earning massive rewards. And once that happens and Peg starts recovering, again, it will be this massive flywheel or chain reaction that will lead to massive momentum. And all the people that said, is EMP dead? Those people will be left behind. And again, that's okay. It's up to each of you to play and participate the way that you see fit. So that segues really well into my next bullet point here. And again, some of you might not like this little side note, but it needs to be said, I think, depending on or because of a lot of the feedback that we've been getting on Discord specifically. But EMP is not a business. And again, I know a lot of you might not agree with that, but this is DeFi or decentralized finance, and we run things like a business. Again, I think that's why we've been successful. But at the end of the day, this is not a business. And what we mean by that is, the protocol is code on the internet. And LA or I or Jake or anybody involved in EMP, nobody is managing funds. Nobody is, pocketing all the revenue for ourselves. Obviously Jake has to be paid, for the development time. There are hard costs with marketing, and hosting and everything that goes into, the hard expenses. But that is achieved again through revenue streams. We're not, dumping loads of tokens on the community like a lot of other projects do. And so, although everybody wants to compare, crypto to the real world, we are not a business. And so, again, I think that, we take pride in being the most transparent team in DeFi, but don't, mistake that for us having or being obligated to provide reports and, everything that you would see in a traditional business that a board of directors would do or shareholders would do and all of that. I mean, we just don't have the infrastructure behind the scenes to be able to do that. I mean, Ella and I and Jake are working nonstop every day to move the needle forward. And again, we are as transparent as we can be. And I want to make sure that we have this conversation with the community, and we can definitely elaborate more on this if we get more pushback. But we put in the groundwork to build the trust with all of you and show you that we're always going to do what we say we do, and that there are no hidden agendas or smoke screens or anything malicious at all. And again, I think that it's an act. We will always act in the best interest of what the community wants and deserves. So at the end of the day, whether you agree with how we do things or you don't, it is a journey with all of us, and you either participate or you don't. And so again, I don't mean to say that in a very entitled way, but it is something that I wanted to address. And I know LA and I have discussed this as well. So, LA, anything you want to add to that? I know, again, I think it's just something that needs to be said.
For sure. And it is something that AJ and I did thoroughly discuss after the last AMA. And I do want everyone to know that every time there's a suggestion made, we always discuss it. We always take it into account, and we always discuss whether we think that, things make sense, and if it's something, especially if it's something that, more than one person requests. But at the end of the day, there's three of us on this team, and there's big things that we're working to accomplish, and you've seen the way that it is in the chats. Every time we check one thing off our to-do list, there's at least 10 or 15 or 20 more requests for things to be accomplished. And that's on top of the day-to-day stuff that already takes 10 or 12 hours a day to do. And if we have to start being accountants and bookkeepers and all of this stuff on top of that, there's no way there would be enough hours in the day for us to turn this into the success that we see it becoming. And we want to do that, not only, to do what we said we're going to do, but because we care so deeply about all of you and about this project and this ecosystem, and because, we care about reaching our goals and making our vision a reality. And so while your ideas and your inputs are extremely valuable and important to us, at the end of the day, we are still going to make decisions as a team, and we are going to be the ones to ultimately decide how this protocol gets run.
Yeah, no, I love it. And that's not to act like a jerk or that we know better. Again, we love feedback, especially constructive feedback or constructive criticism. Again, as long as you have a solution along with a complaint, I mean that I love hearing that. And so, but again, and because we are a very small, mean, and lean team, not only are we able to move fast and get shit done, but it also it makes us a lot more profitable. Meaning, again, rather than paying salaries, hiring accountants, doing everything that LA just said, that a lot of larger, blue chip projects might do. That means more rewards can go towards Fusion and other parts of our ecosystem. So again, it also benefits all of you, having, less mouths to feed, so to speak. And it is in it is in the ethos of DeFi. I mean, we are, all pioneers here. And the whole idea of decentralized finance is not running things like a business, in terms of, waste and, bloat and things that usually come along with the, the negative sides of the economic impact that, real finance has. Um, we run things differently, and we still carry the professionalism. Again, at the end of the day, it's about delivering. And even if you look back over the last, 2 years, like Ella was saying, we've proven ourselves, and there's nothing that we're gonna do that would jeopardize that. And the other really amazing part about crypto is that everything is also on chain. So, that is immutable, meaning, we could not change or cover up or hide, any of that, even if we wanted to. So, I think that, all of those factors play into, the transparency. And again, as we grow and scale, the hope is that, all of that information that all of you are asking for will be on the Fusion dashboard. You'll be able to know the revenue streams coming in. You'll be able to know, the amount of volume, that's used to buy back energy, on a daily basis, and reward that to all of you within Fusion. So again, this conversation isn't meant to be, we're taking our stick or ball, and going home and not listening to anybody. It's just we have to do it in a very, planned out way. And right now, the time and energy and effort is much better spent in other areas. And once Fusion is live, then we can absolutely work this into, a beautiful UI dashboard that updates in real time and lets everybody know exactly where the funds are and where the funds are going, and et cetera, et cetera. So, all right. Again, Ella, anything else on that before we have a few other updates and then, a Q&A?
The only other thing I'll say is we've always been a team that is super scrappy at being able to do a whole hell of a lot with a tiny budget.
For
um,
sure.
we've always laughed about that, AJ and I, because we're able to accomplish 10 times more with 10 times less. So,
Yeah, no doubt. And for me as an investor, even if I wasn't a team lead here at EMP, I mean that would be music to my ears. I mean I love teams that are mean and lean, and scrappy, as LA says, because that means that I'm getting more rewards, from, the income that is happening. So, all right, cool. And again, for those of you who still believe in the project, DCAing into the tokens right now, at these prices couldn't be really any better. That's not financial advice. And if you don't believe and you want to move on, that's okay too. But I think those that are accumulating right now, I mean, even based on the peg bonus, you're looking at a 10x, multiplier from, today's number. So, I don't know where else you're going to be able to find, that sort of a multiplier in that short amount of time. So, and another reminder is that, we'll have a big, marketing push as well. The day that we announce a date and get ready, for the sacrifice, we're gonna have the mother of all, AMA trains, spinning up. So, and again, a lot of those AMAs are already booked and paid for. We're just, waiting until we have a product, and a date that we can fully rely on. So, yeah, you want to add to that? Go ahead, Ellie.
Yeah, and on that front, if you missed last AMA, we did announce a big new partnership with the Pillars, who are absolutely amazing, and they're going to be coming on an AMA very soon to introduce themselves and dive further into that, to kind of explain to you guys exactly how the Pillars portfolio works, and we'll be going back and forth with them to explain to you guys all about the partnership and how it's going to work on both sides, and that'll be really exciting when they come on.
Perfect. Yep, absolutely. So, again, I know a lot of you are already in that community, but if you're not, it'll be a great opportunity to learn more about them and then how both of us can benefit from each other. We say all the time that, the real, the best partnerships and the partnerships that last the longest are a two-way street where, the partner provides value and we provide value. And this Pillars partnership, I think, will be massive in that department. And again, it's not a monetary. I mean, granted, they are getting rewards from Sparkler. If you haven't heard what we're doing, please listen to a previous AMA. But it's really more about the community partnership and building some incredible diehard supporters of both ecosystems. So and all along we have zero doubt in our minds that everything that we're putting together right now will make it to where this entire mothership and ecosystem is better than any of us could ever have imagined. So that's really the whole goal behind everything. So all right, awesome. Ella, any other last words before we go into Q&A? Go ahead.
I think we're good to move on to the Q&A.
All right, awesome. I know we have a lot to go over, and I also see MAA raising his hand as well. I can bring him on at the very end, LA. So why don't we go through the actual written recap questions, and then I know he had a really good question from last week as well. So.
Okay, awesome. The first one up is, what is the importance of PEG now?
Yeah, so I mean, PEG, that PEG is important because no matter what, even moving forward with Fusion, EMP is still fractionalized Ethereum. So the short answer is, PEG, the way PEG operated before Fusion is that when we were above PEG, it would print more EMP. Well, because we're moving away from that inflation, there is no added monetary incentive onto PEG, which means once we recover PEG, maintaining PEG will be a lot more simple and a lot more straightforward, but we will still have a PEG. So again, just like any other algorithmic token, I know that's a dirty word because usually algorithmic tokens fail, but having PEG, again, backed by large liquidity, we will always be able to maintain that moving forward. And it gives you the exposure to Ethereum. So rather than just holding Ethereum in your wallet, you're able to buy EMP, to go into Fusion, and as the price of ETH goes up, so will the price of EMP. So again, because we're below PEG right now, that doesn't really happen at the moment. But once we recover PEG, it will maintain that PEG, and so the price of EMP will be directly related to the price of ETH. So if Ethereum doubles, so will the price of EMP on a dollar basis. So does that help, LA?
Yeah. And can you just go a little bit farther into, like, once Fusion is already launched and we're in the thick of it, how will PEG play a role more specifically at that time?
Yeah, so again, the PEG bonus is really what you need to focus on for now. So while we're below PEG, again, it's not a matter of when, but it's or it's not a matter of if, it's when we will recover PEG. So anytime we're below PEG, you're essentially getting EMP at a guaranteed discount. So the lower below peg, like right now, it could be up to a 10x um, just on the value of EMP getting back to peg. So as we start moving up towards peg, your bonus is getting less and less as we reach peg. So that's why it's so important that you try and get your EMP now while we are this far down. So, Ella, you do a great job of explaining that. I don't know if you want to elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, so the lower you purchase your EMP for, the more of a bonus you'll get. And once the sacrifice starts, there's an assumption that the price of EMP will start to rise and we'll get closer and closer to peg. And so obviously the closer we get to peg, the less of a bonus you'll receive because you're being awarded as if we're at peg. And so the closer you're purchasing to the price of peg, the less of a bonus you're receiving. And so at this point, you're getting somewhere between like an 8 to 10x. I haven't done the math today or this week, so I couldn't tell you exactly what it's at today, but last week it was 8 or 9x, somewhere around there. So, if you're purchasing at these lower prices, you're getting an extremely good, great bonus. And then on top of that, there's also going to be early sacrifice bonuses. And so if you're sacrificing in that initial 24 hours, you're going to get the highest multiplier on top of that peg bonus. So you're going to double dip on the bonuses. Now, on the flip side, if you already have your EMP and you're not purchasing new EMP, but you're holding on to your EMP to sacrifice, you're not at a disadvantage for that either. Because say you purchased your EMP while we were at peg, and you've been holding on to it this whole time, but you've seen it dip, and you're looking at your EMP and you've seen it go way down, and maybe you're even one of those people who have commented in the Discord saying, I've watched my investment go down by however much percentage. You're going to be awarded as if we're at peg. And so if you purchased when we're at peg, you're being made whole, and you've been able to earn on it this entire time in the meantime. And so you're not losing out on anything. You're being made whole to get you back to where you purchased at. So, you're winning there too, because you've been earning this entire time. Whereas the people purchasing now, they're maybe getting that 8 or 9x, but they haven't been earning on it for the last year like you have, or maybe 2 years. So hopefully that kind of narrows it down for you.
Yeah, no, that was super, super good, LA. Thank you. Again, I know between the both of us, we can get the message across somehow. So, yeah, and again, I mean, that is why I think so many people are sleeping on that opportunity, and I get it. Like, there's a lot of people that have invested a lot into EMP. I would say some people are probably over invested in EMP, which we have never ever promoted or if anything, and literally all of our AMAs we say do not overinvest, because then you're looking at the chart every day, you're sad and nervous. That is the number one way. Again, just as a crypto OG advice, the number one way to get less stress in your DeFi portfolio is to not overinvest. So, but again, not to get off subject here too far, everything Ella said is 100% the case. And again, those that realize that are loading up. I know even now we've intentionally reduced some of the liquidity on eShare. Again, that makes eShare more volatile, but it also, prevents massive sell-offs on eShare from here. And we've seen people just slowly accumulating eShare every day. And, again, accumulation is the key to massive wealth, in the next bull run. And even though sentiment is amazing right now, again, if you're in a lot of other DeFi groups, people are halfway joking, bull run, bull run. We're in the middle of a bull run. Let me tell you something. We haven't seen anything yet. If you think, the sentiment is high right now and people are excited, wait until we start seeing new all-time highs on Bitcoin. When that happens, it literally blows the roof off of altcoins as people start taking profit back into, DeFi and altcoins. And, you will be making gains beyond your wildest dreams. Literally in the last bull run, every single person in every single chat, was basically saying I'm rich, And so that to me is the true bull run, or at least the top of the bull run, and we are still months away from that. So this is a great way to just continue to accumulate and get ready. And we're doing everything in our power to help all of you get there. So yeah, I hope that instills some more confidence. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. So all right, awesome. Uh, yeah, go ahead,
By
Ellie.
the way, I forgot to give an update on this before we move on to the next question. I won't give a specific date, but it's going to be extremely soon. I'll likely give you a date on Thursday's AMA, but we're finishing the fusion videos. So the lady is finishing the last video, and then I'm doing one simultaneously. And so those are the last two. And it's going to be done. So I decided to do one on my own so that it would speed up the process a little bit, because having her do them has been taking like 3 or 4 weeks per video. And I just knew you guys weren't going to want to keep waiting. So I'm doing one and she's doing one at the same time. I'm getting mine done tomorrow. It's going to be finished. So as soon as she's done hers, it's going to be done. So I'm excited to share those with you guys when they come out. But there's a lot of questions that get asked, and even though they're detailed in the white paper, I think there's still confusion, and this is just going to make it so much more simplified. It's just going to be a really simple way to explain everything, understand everything, and it's also just kind of fun. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to get those posted for you guys when they come out. So
yeah, LA has been absolutely crushing it. Again, I've seen about three or four of them, and we were just working on the scripts for the last two. And yeah, I mean, if you don't understand Fusion after these videos, then I don't know, nobody can help you. But it really, LA did a tremendous job in just oversimplifying all of the root concepts. And I think this style of video will really help get people excited about Fusion, because it's not as complicated as it first appears. So yeah, again, shout out to ULA. It's been great, and I can't wait to start rolling those out for sure.
yeah, me too. It's going to be fun. Okay, so next question, it goes hand in hand with the first question. How do we plan to get back to PEG as we head towards Fusion Sacrifice, and why are we so confident and certain of our successful future?
Yeah, no doubt. I love this. So, again, there's multiple factors at play, but number one is, or again, I'm not even gonna list them because I'm just gonna go off the top of my head here. And LA, if I forget some key points, feel free to chime in. But there's a lot of factors that essentially guarantee that we're gonna get back to PEG. So, as soon as we announce a date, that will be the first influx. So right now, even a lot of our trusted whales, and even community members that may not be whales, but just love the protocol, they understand the power of DCAing, but they also understand the power of not going all in. So the minute that we announce a date and that Fusion is happening and is going to be here, that will be a massive influx in just people from our own community loading up on the token. And again, there's an opportunity cost in crypto, where you may be able to use your tokens to yield more than what the farms are currently paying. And maybe other protocols, again, it might not be as safe, but we have a lot of DeFi veterans in EMP, and so there's that opportunity cost where they'd rather be yielding and making income that they can bring back to EMP. And because we haven't announced the sacrifice date yet, they're just continuing to earn. So the day that that happens, I think is the quote unquote, catalyst of kicking all of this off. Now, the second thing is that we will be allowing sacrifice of LP tokens. So by sacrificing your EMP ETH LP, not only are you still getting the peg bonus, but now the Treasury will own the LP. So while we're simultaneously getting a lot of new buyers interested, and even people that have been in the ecosystem already, we're also reducing liquidity because we're taking the EMP and ETH LP, that sacrifice, we then unpair that LP, which reduces the liquidity, which allows you to recover peg even faster because it's less capital that you have to move. And we'll be using the ETH pair, or the ETH side of the LP pair, as well as our Ethereum reserves and part of our treasury to start initiating, the buybacks that you all have been asking for. So that will also help get us back to peg. And then again, we can do this without ever having to risk, a lot of the treasury or provide exit liquidity for those that don't like fusion, because it will be a gradual process. And, over time, again, we've said this many times, that the sacrifice phase will be ongoing. So, you'll be able to get into EMP even down the road through this sort of mechanism. And with all the other, revenue streams and just the inherent value of recovering peg, that will spread like wildfire. We've said this many times, that the best form of advertising is a giant green candle. Well, imagine that giant green candle and a seigniorage protocol that has essentially recovered peg from this far down. Nobody has been able to do that. So we'll be making crypto history in the process as well. And so all those factors again are why we are so confident that we will recover peg. And then once we get to peg, then all the revenue streams, will be utilized to provide yield, which makes the inherent value of EMP even that much higher, because the only way to earn that yield is through having a position at EMP. So the utility of fusion drives the value of EMP as well. And once we recover peg, if we go below peg again, it's almost like an arbitrage opportunity, where the minute we recover peg and maintain peg, again, for at least a few days to a week, everybody's confidence will be back. And then if for whatever reason, we were able, and again, it's going to be very minimal anyway, because you're not even really able to sell EMP through, Fusion as it is. So there will be really no selling pressure anyway. But if somebody doesn't go into Fusion and wants to sell their liquid EMP in the beginning, there will be some dips. And then those of you that want to get into EMP or add to your ownership, that is essentially buying EMP at a discount. So there will be this inherent arbitrage that as we go below peg, you'll be able to buy it. I mean, just like any seigniorage protocol in the past, that's how they all operate as well. So again, I'm more than confident with all those factors. I'm sure I'm forgetting even more ways that we're going to do it, but those are the big ones that almost guarantee recovery. But yeah, LA, any others I forgot or anything you want to add? What you're most confident in?
I mean, how do I follow that up? Jeez.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get on these streaks and I have a hard time following.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well,
No, I
again,
mean,
go ahead. Yeah.
one thing I'll say is that, I mean, you've seen what we've explained of Fusion from the outside, but when you truly see how incredibly innovative this system is, you will 100% understand why we're so confident. And I am really excited for you guys to see that. I know you're excited as well. And the time will come. And, you know, especially since Jake is now getting back to 100% focusing on Fusion, the time will come. I promise you that. But you will be just as bullish as we are. We are extremely confident, and there will be no question that you will be as well.
Yeah, for sure. And one more thing, LA. Again, you gave me time to just make sure I covered everything. I didn't even mention this, and this is gonna be some super duper alpha for those that stayed all the way to the end. So, congrats to all of you. But one thing that we talked about a little bit with our favorite guy, Vino Mystic, about a month ago now, probably. But just to reiterate that there is going to be very little in the grand scheme of things. There is going to be very little EMP available once we start this process. So just between the Treasury and the R-bot and the team and up EMP, like there is a ton of EMP that is locked up or owned by good actors in the ecosystem. And again, I haven't done the actual math, but I would say it's well over 25% of all the EMP in existence is just not even going to be available to be bought or sold. So that being said, once we start the sacrifice process, that means more and more and more EMP comes off the market, and you get this incredible price squeeze based on supply and demand that again, I mean, peg is very, very easy to recover at that point because of all the factors that we have in place. And that's another reason why we are doing the things that we're doing in the exact order that we're doing them in. Again, not to be egotistical, but we are playing chess and not checkers. We are all extremely vast. I have extreme DeFi knowledge. We've seen this play out 100 times over in other protocols, and we have learned everything from those protocols and other economic models that we are applying to our rollout. So again, I know everybody is frustrated with the delays. Call it FUD, call it whatever, but the patience will pay off because we're going to have a bulletproof plan to make all this a reality. So again, I hope that gets you inspired because that's why we're so bullish and why we can come on an AMA and say that it's not if, it's when we recover peg because the numbers just don't lie. So yeah, again, LA, I don't know if you want to add to that, but
All I want to say is, you've got that right.
yeah, I love it. Perfect. All right, cool. Do we have any other questions? Or I know,
Oh, we
yeah.
do.
Okay,
Oh, we
perfect.
do.
Oh, we do. All right, it's gonna be a long one then. All right, I'm ready.
So this is another one about confidence and certainty. So, what makes you so confident that protocol owned liquidity will work for EMP? What has convinced you that this is the model of the future for EMP or for DeFi? Sorry.
Yeah. So again, protocol liquidity is king, no matter what. Whether it's mercenary liquidity or protocol owned liquidity. Liquidity is really all that matters because you could be a dashboard millionaire, but if you can't actually cash out your tokens, then it's all fake anyway. So liquidity is king. We said that over and over and over and over again. And protocol owned liquidity is, in my opinion, way way more safe because, and again, that's with a major caveat that it's not a team that's going to run away with the money. And obviously we'll have things under multi-sig and be able to protect the funds. But protocol owned liquidity is very, very powerful because, again, you're not beholden to somebody just leaving the protocol. Without POL, anybody that's providing liquidity, they can leave at any time. All they do is unpair their LP and they're gone. And that is the risk that you take with mercenary liquidity. And again, the more POL we have, protocol and liquidity, the more POL, the more fees that we're able to keep. Again, because any of those trading fees are split with LP providers. That is actually then a revenue stream for the POL itself. I mean, there's just so many advantages um, to POL, and we can reduce or enlarge the liquidity as needed as well for capital efficiency. So again, I preach that liquidity is king, but if there's only, again, just to give an example, if you could only cash out, $5 million of EMP, and we have, 100 million in liquidity, that is not really capital efficient either. So having the ability to manage POL allows you to provide enough liquidity that everybody gets paid, but then the reserves are able to earn and yield even more with that capital. So yeah, I mean, I think POL is definitely what every protocol should strive towards. Again, the caveat is that the devs are just gonna steal the money. So yeah, does that help answer, LA?
Absolutely, yes. And I do want to answer one question that is in the YouTube right now. I was just typing the answer to it, but I'll answer on voice too. It says, would it be possible to add ETH to the bridge prior to fusion to allow us to transfer out our LP for sacrifice? Or would you suggest converting the ETH to EMP prior to sending it back? And I just wanted to mention, in regards to the fusion sacrifice, EMP ETH LP and just EMP are going to be treated absolutely identically in regards to the sacrificing and the peg bonus. And so if you're swapping your LP to EMP and then bridging it back over to BSC with the intention of directly sacrificing, you won't need to put it back into LPs because it'll be treated identically as if it were LP. So whether there is an ETH bridging option or not, you'll be totally fine in that regard.
Yeah, totally. And real quick on that note, just that the way LA explained that for those that you were paying attention, the fact that you're gonna have to break your LP and then buy EMP with that ETH, that pushes the price of EMP up, and that helps us recover peg. Again, that exact situation that LA just said. That's why, again, we're so confident. And again, to her point, you're not losing any value because we have to treat EMP ETH LP the same as just sacrificing EMP directly because again we would never want people if we gave a bonus to EMP and not the LP. You would get a situation where there could be some gamification or the other way around if we over incentivized EMP ETH LP, then people would sell half their EMP to make LP. So yeah, everything that we've done in terms of the way we're crediting sacrifice points has been massively thought out. And yeah, and again just to add a little bit more, um, most likely we will not have an ETH option. Again, just because we want to encourage people to swap into EMP and help that process happen. But again, I mean, depending on the capabilities of the bridge, we may add an ETH option. That's still yet to be determined. But if I had to say right now, we will not have a bridge option, and you will have to unpair your ETH or unpair your LP, use the ETH to buy EMP, and then bridge everything over to sacrifice. So, and again, we can get creative with that. We'll have a full breakdown as we get closer. You know, we could even have a contract that would just accept the LP on Pulse and apply it to the fusion ownership. But again, whatever we end up doing will have to be the safest option as well. But yeah, I think we covered that one. Okay.
Okay, next one up. I would like to optimize my gas ratio in relation to compound value in the sparkler, so I can then determine how long I should ideally wait before compounding my spark into the sparkler. I get that the more stakes equals higher gas fees in the sparkler. I've been adding spark to sparkler to prevent dilution, so here's my question. Is there a way to determine what the increase dollar amount in gas is for every new stake into sparkler?
Yeah, so that is a really great question. And it's a bit above my pay grade. I'd have to ask Jake, our developer. But just as a side note, I don't think it's linear. Like, in other words, I don't think it's every stake is, you know, 10 cents in Sparkler. I think that it's actually exponential, meaning the more stakes you have, the more it increases actually more and more every time. So there is something to be said, about paying attention to that, especially if you're like compounding literally every single day or multiple times a day. But I'll ask Jake that. I mean, we're always trying to streamline, gas fees. If it becomes a real issue, we can always migrate into a different model in terms of the way gas is handled. We've also talked about maybe encapsulating your stakes as an NFT and having your ownership transferable. So there's a lot of different ways that we can address that. But I mean, right now, I mean, again, Pulse gas is pretty cheap. And I wouldn't suggest compounding any more than once a day anyway. So you really shouldn't be hit too hard with gas fees. I mean, again, it's that double-edged sword of it takes money to make money, and if you're paying a lot in gas, that means that you're making a lot of money as well. So it comes with the territory. But yeah, does that help explain LA? I mean, obviously, I'll get a better explanation from the devs, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get a little bit of further information from them because it's hard for us to accurately answer that without kind of understanding it completely under the hood.
For sure.
Then here's the final one. When will the Spark-PLS farm be Sparkswap LP?
Yeah, so I love this question, and I don't know, I cannot confirm nor deny that a lot of the upgrades to the bridge and some other upgrades you'll see this week may be pushing that process a lot sooner than we had anticipated. So I'll leave it at that. I'll use LA's favorite new word. She's trying to get me to say ASAP. So that way we're not getting FUD if we, are delayed, like we were with Fusion. But so yeah, I'd say, that is very high on the list of getting things finished.
Awesome. Let me just look if there's anything else on YouTube. I don't think so. I think that's it.
Cool. All right, and just yeah, I want to bring on MAA. Hopefully he's still here. And just to elaborate on that, there will be a very simple solution for migrating LP. Again, I wasn't really going to go into it today because we're not ready yet. But I don't want anybody to be concerned about moving the LP to our own Spark DEX owned LP. There'll be a really simple and easy way that we facilitate this in the front end. So you know, and obviously we'll communicate that to all of you as well. But we're making things as simple as possible. Cool. All right. MAA, are you there, brother? Finally, man. I think maybe the daylight savings is good for you. We're a little earlier for you, I think. So yeah. Oh, is he there? Maybe. You have to unmute,
Oh,
brother. Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
there you
yeah, I was muted.
go. Right on, bro. How are you, bro? Yeah.
I'm suffering from your problem with the mute
I
button,
know.
I
I love
guess.
that damn mute button, man. It gets me every time. Yeah, brother. No doubt. So yeah, man. You had some great questions last week. I guess maybe give a little background, and then I'm happy to answer what you had discussed.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. But before, that's why I wrote on the channel. I wanted to add something when LA was speaking,
Oh,
because
for sure. Okay.
since since this entire AMA was mostly about you know, people's feelings and about their investments and how they feel about them right now. I wanted to give a point of view from an investor that's not part of the team, never was, and that's also, I'm going through a difficult time investment wise. So maybe people hearing from someone that's going through something similar,
For sure.
maybe it's gonna be a bit easier for them to understand, and maybe you know, change their minds a little bit. First of all, I wanted to, because this is the thing that caught my attention during this AMA. To be honest, I was watching TV and listening to the AMA at the same time, and I just heard LA mention Bitcoin, Ethereum, and EMP at the same time, and immediately my thought was bullshit. Sorry, LA. That was my initial you know, initial response, and triggered me to wait, I want to add something. uh, that sounds like bullshit, and that's why the reaction was that, but it's actually true if you think about it. The team always said that EMP is fractionalized Ethereum. So that means you're just holding Ethereum at not even a lower price. You just buy Ethereum. I know it's down as far as peg goes right now. So that just means you get even more money out of your money. So instead of getting, not financial advice, of course. So basically, for people that don't really get it after an entire year or almost 2 years now of discussions about this subject, basically when you buy EMP, you get Ethereum. And because we are not at peg right now, that just means you get Ethereum cheaper. Of course, that means you have to trust the team that they will deliver on what they say. And that gets me to my next point. For the people that were here for the last year or maybe 2 years now, like I was, there's no doubt in my mind, and I'm guessing on most of investors' mind, that the team will eventually deliver. Um, the only problem, I guess, is that the bear market just caught us off guard a little bit, at least in my case, because I just started investing like a year and a half ago, something like that. And I had no idea about cycles of the market and stuff like that. I just saw some investment opportunities, hopped right in, lost some money, saw some other investments, lost some more money, and then I saw EMP and caught my eye with algo coin with Ethereum. Great, that's for me. So that's how I got here.
For sure. I think a lot of us had that reaction. MAA, for sure, brother. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but my first Tom fork experience was actually Tom. And when I heard about the same kind of project, because I really liked the way it was, like really simple, make some LPs, stake them in the farms, whatever shares you get, you go to the boardroom, stake that there, and to get some more money. So that was simple enough for me. And when I heard EMP algo coin with Ethereum, that's a blue chip, I said, okay, sign me up. So getting back to my point, if the team delivers, which I have no doubt they will, it's actually exactly what they said. It's a no-brainer. You just basically you buy Ethereum, and now because we are not at peg, it's the biggest discount ever. If you want to look at it, just like LA said, you have to zoom out a little bit and just think about it. You get EMP at about 10x, let's say, lower right now. So that's an instant 10x when Fusion launches, and you also have to consider that we're still in a very, very bad bear market. So on top of the 10x you get, just because you got EMP, then you get whatever X's Ethereum will do. So I don't I always I always was a person that likes to lowball everything just because I don't want to get my hopes too high up, because the numbers are going crazy if you start adding stuff up. So coming from someone that didn't live a rich life, I just had a normal life up until now. I still do, because we're not in a bull market yet. um, I, I even when I have my hopes down, really, 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 really down, it's still an immense profit. I sometimes I just think uh, it's not even real. It's not gonna be real. EMP is giving us a chance to, just like you say, AJ, a life-changing money. That's you cannot say it any better than that.
For sure. Yeah, for sure, brother.
It's just amazing, and it will be. You just have to have faith in the team. And speaking from an investor's perspective, yeah, I'm in a rough spot right now just because everything is down. But if you, again, like LA said, if you zoom out just a little bit and think about what's going to happen, and why did things, most importantly, why did everything happen like it did? Why did we go down? What happened? The story of EMP, because that's what it is. It's our story, and we went down because people started selling because of the bear market. For me, at least, I had no idea again about the cycle, so I had no idea we're going to go this down, and I probably would have not gotten in with everything I had as far as investment money. Also, I calculated my. I made an estimate that probably somewhere around January this year we're gonna end with the bear market. I had no idea that was just kind of a beginning.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, that was just the beginning,
I
exactly,
mean
brother.
that everything that happened. What I'm trying to say is that everything that happened to my investment was my own fault. And as soon as people realize and start assuming their faults in what they did, they will become better investors. They will be a lot more prepared for what's to come, because I'm pretty sure I've never experienced bull markets, but from what I've heard in different YouTube videos, in different discussions with people here in EMP, uh, it's gonna be something uh, not real. You will feel like it's not real. It cannot happen to you.
For sure.
So
Yeah, bro, it's epic. And yeah, you're 100% MA. I mean, when you start hearing everybody in every chat you go to literally, saying that they have achieved the life-changing wealth, they're buying houses, they're buying Lambos, again, the traditional, meme. I mean, that shit actually happens. And, that's when it feels like a top. And knowing what I know now, I'm going to take a lot more profits when everybody else is ecstatic. But it's hard, man. You get caught up in that, euphoria, and it really does, the fruits of your labor for all the hard times that you've endured. Now, again, like MAA is saying, through the horrendous bear market, it really is vindicating and it's exciting. So yeah, it's almost here again. I think we have about one more year, and then we're all going to be in an amazing position. But yeah, sorry, go ahead, MA.
um oh my god, my idea flew right off my head right now, because I was you were talking, and I was just thinking about exactly how other fields felt, and I, you know because I watched so many people talking about bull markets and stuff like that over on YouTube, on TikTok, on everywhere on the internet. And I'm sure, because I was raised the same way, if it's too good to be true, then it's not true. But um, it seems with crypto, it's actually the other way around. And I know it's hard to re-educate yourself, or I don't even know how to express myself about this. If you can understand that in life there are things that can and will change your life 100% in the other direction, then you will start opening up your mind about what are the possibilities. Also, I wanted to add about people that just kept complaining that everything is going down and stuff like that. Sure, it was, but for those of you that didn't pay attention, you should have, because the team brought to us a lot of projects that you could have invested. Just the top of my head, up EMP is like something really really cool for a lot of people. Me myself, I didn't go there. I have no idea why. I just didn't trust it for some reason. But let's talk about Spark. They just released it. Um, Let me tell you what I did, just to get an idea about things that you could have done. I just took my e-shares, yeah, sold them at a loss, bridged them over to Pulse, and then made some more money that way, thinking that at some point I'm gonna bridge back the money I take as a profit from Pulse, and get my shares back. Another thing you could have done, and you still can do, you can get your ETH LPs bridged over to Spark and then earn a little bit more that way, because in the EMP.Money website we have like 0.05% per day, and on over on Spark you get like almost 0.25. Now calculating the fees you have to pay, that's 0.5%, so that's like 2 days you recover your um, your fees, and then you're off to the races. And you make some more money that way. And when you bring it all back when fusion launches, awesome. Or if you need to just put some money, get some money out of crypto because you need it, like I did, you can do that. You just have to pay attention, because the crypto space is not it's not an investment that you just put your money and then forgot about it, unless you just buy Ethereum and Bitcoin and or whatever you like, and you just wait for the price to go up. But if you're that kind of person, then you're not someone that's interested in DeFi, so you shouldn't be here.
For sure. Yeah,
um,
no doubt. Well, 99% of crypto, like you say, they think holding ETH or Bitcoin in their wallet is participating. But yeah, no, really great points, MA, for sure, bro. And yeah, I know you had wanted to know a little bit more about what's under the hood. I'm not trying to rush
yeah,
you, but
exactly. I
I
was
know
getting,
we
I
don't
was
want to be
getting
here
there.
for. Yeah, I know, brother. Be here for another 2 hours, right? No, it's all good. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
there's so much to say, because I've been, it's 2 years, AJ. It's 2 years going down, to be honest,
Yeah, bro. No,
and
you've
there's a
been
lot to say.
totally, bro.
Uh,
You've been with us from the
and
beginning. Yeah.
yeah, almost. You guys were like 1 month or 2 months old as a project, I think, something like that. Okay, just to wrap things up. You just need to trust the team, I guess. If you trust the team, then there's nothing wrong. You shouldn't be upset about anything. You just have to wait patiently. If that's the case, if you need some money, I just gave you some pointers on what you needed to do, or what you can still do about getting some extra cash out of crypto, or just enlarging your portfolio, I guess. Yeah, we had and we still have a lot of opportunities. So you just need to uh, open your eyes, open your mind, realize that this is not the end. Just hang in there for a little more time, and everything is going to be more than okay. Uh,
I love it. Yeah,
Also,
no doubt, brother.
I,
Well,
I need
and
to I need to
yeah,
thank the
yeah.
team. I need to thank the team, because as a last point, and something that I've been through, I actually started the discussion with this. I've invested in a couple of projects, not a whole lot, but enough. And there are a few projects out there that really have a team that stands by the project, and especially a team that stands by the community. And everyone that's in here and that's invested in EMP, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm guessing everyone feels this way. You just feel like the luckiest person on earth, having a team that's consistently building, and it's consistently communicating, and that's, for me, that's the most important thing. You guys communicate with us every time. I know, for me at least, being 2 years, it gets boring sometimes, because you have to repeat over and over some information, but just because you're there and talking about it over and over and over again, that just proves to me again that I made a solid and good choice
For sure.
with my investment money, that you're not going away, EMP is not going away. And even though I would have expected it to be, for Fusion to launch a whole lot, a lot sooner, you guys are still here. So as long as you're here and I'm hearing you twice a week, then everything is fine for me.
I love it, brother. No doubt.
uh,
Well, and again, man, you've been you've been one of the good constructive criticism bringers, and again, that's why I wanted to bring you on. You keep it real, and you are very conservative, and I think that is an important aspect to have. Obviously, we like to think about what could happen, but you have to be a realist as well. And I think from the very beginning, MA, you've been a realist. And even with that approach, being conservative and, running the numbers, EMP going into Fusion really is that good. And I think, again, I appreciate you coming on and explaining your point of view, even, not as part of the team or anybody, just a community member. I think it helps, and hopefully it helps others for sure.
Well, that's why I'm here. And now getting to my questions. Tell me about Sparkswap's farms. I want to know what happens in the background. We talked about. I asked AJ like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, something like that. But then I got caught up with things to do. We were talking about how are we, where are the rewards coming from, first of all. AJ mentioned that the contracts are right now are held over on Pulse. I don't know if I'm saying this right, not exchange, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to
yeah.
correct me on
PulseX.
this.
Yep, totally.
And you are looking forward to changing that, and we will host our own liquidities and stuff like. You need to be more specific than I am, because I'm out of my league here. I'm just that's why I wanted to ask, because I want to learn, and I'm pretty sure some other people will want to hear the same. What's going on in the background?
For sure.
Where are rewards coming from? What does changing the farm contract from the PulseChain over to Sparkswap exchange, uh, all of that, all of that stuff.
Yeah, brother. All right, perfect. So, yeah, and this is much easier to explain over an AMA. That's how we got here. So, yeah, the short answer again, just to recap what MAA was actually asking is, why is it so important that we are moving to our own LP with Sparkswap acting as an actual DEX, and how does that help the revenue or the fees into Sparkler? So, that again, I'll try to make it as short as I can, but still give a lot more background info. So, right now, the majority of our LPs are on PulseX, and PulseX again is its own exchange. It's the native exchange for Pulse, and there is a 0.3% swap fee associated uh, uh, with PulseX, and with PulseX V1, they PulseX keeps all of those fees. So again, I mean that's how DEXs make money. They have a fee to transact, and so all the rehypothecated farms, we were not getting any of the swap fees because it's providing more volume for PulseX and not SparkSwap. So we still got fees from the in and out fees. We got some other swap fees between pools and farms, but the vast majority was still going towards PulseX. And so we have the same 0.3% fee that PulseX does. Again, that's an industry standard. Uniswap, PancakeSwap, all of them charge that fee. And now, rather than going to PulseX, they go to us and they go right into Sparkler. So again, this is a massive revenue boost on us getting all of the swap fees, and we also get all of the LP rewards as well. So there's another variable, and that's why PulseX went to V2. Again, there's a V2 on PulseX as well, where PulseX V1, they didn't share any of the liquidity provider rewards with their liquidity providers. I'm not talking about ink rewards. I'm talking about actual fees. And so that's why they went to V2, because if you're providing liquidity to PulseX and V2, you as a liquidity provider also get some fees. So again, we have made the decision not to reward any LP providing fees and as well as any swap fees, and rather have all of that go to Sparkler. So, and once we get away from inflation, we have the ability to allow LP providers to earn some of the swap fees as well. But that will only happen when we're not incentivizing farms on top. So again, all the farms are getting Spark, so it doesn't make sense to reward LP providers twice. And we would much rather have those rewards going to
You're a little
Sparkler.
bit robot.
Oh. Oh, is that better, LA?
Yep, that's better.
Sorry. Okay, what part did you not hear?
Just like the last 30 seconds or so.
Okay, yeah. So just the fact that we have made the decision to keep all of the swap fees and the LP rewarded fees within providing LP, all of those go to Sparkler, and we did that on purpose because again, you're getting incentivized for providing LP with Spark. So once we stop rewarding farms with Spark, again, eventually we'll have farms that are not incentivized, and then those farms you will be able to get part of the LP rewards for providing liquidity. And again, that's part of our goal moving away from the inflation of Spark itself. So again, I know a lot of that's pretty technical. It might be a little bit more information than a lot of you understand, but that is all what's happening under the hood and why it's so important to move to our own LP. And there's a lot of other added benefits as well. I won't go too far into it, but the bot protection, being able to arbitrage our own tokens, we're able to do that because if we own the LP pools, we can whitelist the bots, and so that gives the bots an advantage of just MME protection of other bots trying to swoop in and extract value from the protocol. We're able to run our own arbitrage bots and keep all the value within the ecosystem. And we can only do that because we own the LP pools. So yeah, and last but not least, it's also a marketing tool because now we're our own DEX. And just like BuySwap competing or ApeSwap competing with Pancake over on BSC, we are a competitor to PulseX. And we're seeing a lot more DEXs pop up, and that's healthy for the ecosystem. The more DEXs on Pulse, the more users for everybody. I get accused of talking trash about other protocols when I want nothing more than other protocols to be here and succeed with us. So, all right, cool. And I think we lost MAA. So, Ella, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I was gonna say because we got to get you onto another bullish call, and we have some behind the scenes stuff to hop on
For
to
sure.
here.
Yep, we have another very important meeting right now. So, all right, yep, we have what is it? We have 6 minutes. So again, I always get in trouble. I say we're not going to go for 2 hours, and here we are. But I think it was a lot of great info today. So yeah, you want any final words, LA, while we wrap it up? Go ahead.
Thank you for sticking it out with us, guys, for these really long AMAs, the last few ones here. But we love all you guys. I think it's been a really good one. A lot of productive stuff has been happening behind the scenes today, and I think we accomplished a lot here on this AMA. So thanks for being here with us, and thanks for being superstars.
All right, I love it. There you go. I don't have much more to add to that. So on that note, we'll wrap it up. All of you are absolutely superstars, and much love to everybody that sticks it out with us and prepares for the amazingly bullish things that we have in the future. So as always, remember we do these AMAs twice a week at 6:45 p.m. Eastern, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, please smash the like button on your way out if you have not already. That helps us continue our engagement. Again, more info coming. Keep an eye out for the L1X claiming video, as well as when the bridge is live again. Again, we had a few hours of maintenance on the bridge. It should be ready hopefully by the time I sign off, but we'll make an announcement in all of our socials. So, all right, that'll do it. Good night, good day. We'll see you on Thursday.